Good morning, everyone. Time is now 9:30. I'll call the October 10th, 2023 regular meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As you can maybe hear or not hear, we do not have microphones today due to some technical difficulties. Hopefully you can hear us okay, so just everyone else there, just be aware. No mic. We're not live there, right, either?
Our mics.
No, okay, no mics. Okay, next is public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning. If anyone would like to make public comment on any of the agenda items? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to approval of the minutes from our September 26, 2023 regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Roulette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Approval of the bills, number 5 on our agenda. We have a batch of bills to approve today.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Roulette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Number 6 on our agenda is the 2022 auditor presentation. They're getting set up for that. How's it going over there, Matt?
Oh, we'll find out. Not the best.
That's okay. Take your time.
We love technology.
First time, every time. We should be all set.
All right, so my name is George Josevich. I was the manager on the audit this year. And we're going to start off here with just a quick overview of the presentation. And maybe, oh, there we go. All right. All right, so first we'll get into the audit results, then we'll have some other required communications from auditing standards, and then we'll finish up with some financial highlights here. So starting off with the financial audits of both the township and the general authority. The audits were performed in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America, as well as government auditing standards, and we expressed an unmodified opinion on both of the financial statements, meaning that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, or in other words, everything is just as it should be with no issues. So moving on to the single audit, and this is something that's still relatively new for the township. So basically, anytime an entity has more than $750,000 of expenditures of federal money, that entity has to have an audit over compliance and also internal control over compliance with the federal programs that are considered major to the entity. So for Mill Creek Township, the major federal program that was tested was the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, where the result of that audit was, again, an unmodified opinion over compliance and the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. As far as internal control goes, we did not find any deficiencies. So once again, in the most simple terms possible, the township is in compliance, and we found no issues. All right, so here are some things that auditing standards just require us to communicate to the governing body. So there were no difficulties encountered performing the audit. There were no disagreements with management. Management representations are to be obtained prior to issuing the final bound reports, which we did in fact receive. There were no management consultations with other accountants to our knowledge. And there was a new accounting standard that was adopted this year, and that's GASB 87 about leases. And basically the standard requires governments to report operating lease liabilities and related right of use assets on the statement of net position. So If you review the statements this year, just know that those are going to be some new balance sheet items that you're going to see. And if you wanted to read more about them, I don't know the note number, but there is a note regarding those pieces. All right, so now getting into some financial highlights here. So on pages 10 and 11 of the financial audit report of the township, this is a comparison of government-wide results, basically between 2021 and 2022. So assets for governmental activities decreased by about $3 million, or 2.7%, and total liabilities for governmental activities increased by about $5.2 million, or 11.8%. So both the decreases in assets and increases in liabilities can almost totally be attributed to the most recent actuarial valuation of the township's pension, which decreased last year's net pension asset and increased the net pension liability. For business type activities, which is the sewer revenue fund, assets remain basically the same, only decreasing by 0.6%. However, there was a significant increase in total liabilities, an increase of 21%, which again is mostly due to the recent actuarial valuation, but also due to just an increase in the amount of outstanding invoices at the end of the year due to the timing of check runs and such. So page 14 compares governmental fund revenues and expenditures from year to year. Revenues remain virtually the same in 2022, only increasing 0.22%, and expenditures increased by $4.1 million, or 12.3%, which is mostly due to an increase in capital projects that occurred in 2022. Pages 18 and 20 are governmental funds balance sheet and income statement. The general fund had a net loss of $4.6 million, once again, mostly due to the increase in capital projects. Total governmental fund balance at year end was approximately $29.2 million, with about $9.4 million being unassigned. And then we have the budgetary cushion ratio here, calculated by taking unassigned fund balance and dividing it by revenues. And so this is thought by finance professionals to be one of the most important financial indicators for a local government's financial condition, and basically tells us how much of the government's revenues have been received or have been reserved and available to be carried over into the following year. Mill Creek Township budgetary cushion ratio is a strong 29.3%, where it's thought by finance professionals that around 10% is generally sufficient for normal increases in contingencies. So the township is definitely in good shape there. And so here's our contact information. Brian Crucial is the engagement partner. And then my contact information is below. And so that concludes what I have for you guys. I mean, I can open up to questions and comments if there are any.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And next up are bids and quotes. Professional planning services. Matt?
Oh, no, sorry. Thanks. Good morning. Yes, this is a proposal from Altair Real Estate Services for an agreement to administer our RACP grant, our Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program grant that we received from the state of Pennsylvania. We currently have a $3.5 million award. We do have to submit a project management plan by December 11th of this year in order to maintain our funding, or else we stand to lose the award. Altair has proposed a 2-year contract broken down into 2 components, a $34,000 annual contract that is paid monthly in installments of $2,833.33 that would help with project coordination, and then a not to exceed general amount of $100,000 each year on an as-needed basis, subject to work orders that would detail the scope, deliverables, and costs for any charges against that. These services would be concentrated on administering the RACP grant that we received. Altair did assist us in submitting the latest grant that we received, the $3 million out of the $3.5 million. And their help would be key in submitting a plan that complies with this program. And any project management costs that are incurred can be used as match towards that $3.5 million. So I would recommend entering into this contract with Altair for $34,000 annually, and then a not to exceed additional amount of $100,000 based on work orders specifically towards that amount. I have placed that $100,000 in my budget for the following 2 years to take care of that. So I would recommend approval of this agreement.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any further questions or comments on this?
I just have one quick question.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Matt, you did say that this does count toward the match required by the RAPI, correct?
Yes, any funds spent towards the grant administration can be used as match.
Okay, thank you.
And we are required to have a $3.5 million
Yes.
match. It's a 1-to-1.
Yes, thank you. I'll make a motion, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Altair agreement for the RAPI administration.
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Lett?
Yes.
I vote no. Next up is the signboard software renewal. Dan?
I'll take that.
If you want, I mean,
Or Matt?
I do.
Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Shall talk to me before the meeting?
All right.
Unless you want.
No.
Okay. This is a quote received from All Traffic Solutions Incorporated for renewal of the software that controls the signboards, the electronic roadside signboards that we have. The township does have 2, and the costs were initially split on the purchase, one for emergency management and one for public works. They're often used in conjunction with each other, you know, two ends of the same kind of project, but we do have 2 separate boards. There's usually an annual renewal of the software, but they have an option to renew for 3 years. The quote amount for a 3-year renewal is $4,845. That ends up to be a total savings of $855 based on 3 separate annual renewals. So we're recommending that we enter into this 3-year renewal agreement for $4,845 with All Traffic Systems. The cost would be split equally between the emergency management code account and public works software account. So each department would be responsible for $2,422.50. So we recommend entering into this agreement with All Traffic Solutions.
Thank you, Matt. Do I hear a motion on this?
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Lett?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Change order number 1, Westlake Sewer Project. Dan? Or Rob? Okay.
All right, this
Which
from
Rob? The one that's,
This is from Dave.
I'm familiar with it, but.
In engineering. This is a change order for the Westlake Sewer Project. It's Mr. Wright's recommendation that he has reviewed the work and completed as directed. The cost of the change order was $3,050, and that leaves a balance in the project of $5,503.66. I'll make a motion to approve this change order as requested.
All right, thank you, Dan.
And I'll second?
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Lett?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 8 on our agenda, acceptance of stormwater maintenance plan, which is tabled from our September 26th meeting, 3340 Zimmerly Road. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, as I think we indicated at the last meeting, we were looking at a way to resolve an issue that existed on this property with respect to the sidewalk deferral. Typically, the amount of sidewalk that's being deferred is fairly de minimis, and those numbers get rolled into the stormwater management plan that the entity is doing. In this case, because of the location of the property, which fronted 2 sides of roads and was fairly large, I think the square footage was going to be over 10,000 square feet, which would have had a significant impact on the stormwater plan and the management and so forth. So they had approached us to see if there was an alternative for that. After looking at it and discussing it internally with the stormwater folks at the township, we came up with a solution that's contained in this document that's before you. And in cases such as this, where there's a large square footage of sidewalks, we created a document that gives the developer two alternatives. One of which is to proceed and go ahead and do the stormwater, in which case when they actually put the sidewalk in later, they wouldn't need to do anything further because it's already been accounted for. Or they could defer the sidewalk stormwater, but recognize that when they would put it in, they'd have certain obligations to follow, and would need to account for the stormwater flows that would be generated by that additional square footage. And if in the meantime the ordinance has changed and it's made the requirements more strict, they would then have to comply with the more strict requirements. So a little bit of rolling the dice from their perspective, and they need to evaluate what risk they want to take with that, but at least it gives them that option. And in reality, in many of these cases, it's unlikely to ever see a sidewalk just because of there's no sidewalks around it unless there's a change in law that requires sidewalks to be installed. It's doubtful that they will frankly ever be triggered, but the recommendation would be is to approve their stormwater management plan subject to them executing this revised stormwater sidewalk deferment agreement. Correct me if I'm wrong, benefits.
That's correct.
Okay, so is there going to be a separate sidewalk deferral agreement, or did we already?
So the board already approved a sidewalk deferral agreement conditioned on the sidewalk deferral.
Very good. Okay. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, is there a motion on the stormwater maintenance plan as presented with the subject to the execution of the sidewalk deferral agreement at at the FAM's discretion or option they choose at that time? So, thank you, Dan.
Oh, go ahead, microphone. Second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Number 9, new or amended ordinances under review. Mr. Shaw?
Yeah, we have two that we're looking at as we've repeated in prior meetings in Saldo. They're still being reviewed by our engineering department, and hopefully we can get that moving forward here shortly. And then secondly, Township is looking at reinstituting the animal resource officer. And if you recall, the prior position was more aligned with the police department. This current position actually will be more aligned with code enforcement. And so as a result, it requires some changes and modifications to our existing ordinances to reflect that change in scope. And so we're working on an ordinance that would do that. It's fairly minor changes, but it's kind of interspersed throughout the code in different sections. So we're working on pulling that together, and that should be available, I believe, for a vote at our next meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Next, number 10, we have a developer's agreement, a land development plan for Dick's Sporting Goods. Matt, you have that?
Sure, I can take that. Yes, before you is a developer's agreement for the Dick's Sporting Goods land development. It's for the field that they are planning to build to the west of the existing Dick's store. The reason that this agreement is before you is because Cafaro, the owner of the mall, has made some significant requests for changes from our normal agreement. They have all been reviewed, and I don't want to speak for Attorney Shaw, he can cover that, but they've all been reviewed by the solicitor's office and been found okay, but because it's such a departure from the previously approved forms, this is before you to be approved today.
And I'll add that the changes are, as Matt said, they're not necessarily substantive, but there's a lot of them, so it makes sense to bring it before the board. And this is consistent with other agreements we've had with Cafaro relating to the mall that we've done in the past. So I don't think it doesn't lessen any of their responsibilities. A lot of the changes are things that wouldn't apply to them anyway, and they just, you know, for purposes of just cleaning it up, they like those provisions removed. That works with us, but that's why it's included for you.
Okay, so is it the Planning and Development Department's recommendation to approve this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any other questions or comments on this agreement with Cafaro?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, this is clear.
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Speaking of sidewalk, we have a deferral request from 5511 Westlake Road. Matt?
Yes, there's a developer building a single-family dwelling at 5511 Westlake Road. Carl Ukasik, he's requesting to defer sidewalk, construction of his sidewalks. They have filled out the previous form, and they have, in this instance, taken care of the stormwater with their plan, so I guess we leave that up to the discretion of the solicitor whether they can go forward with this one or if we should ask them to sign the new.
I think if they've just proceeded as kind of we always have, that's fine. They don't need to do the other one.
Okay. Well, then, that being the case, they have submitted the deferral on the proper form and signed it, so we would recommend approval of this sidewalk deferral.
See the map here, Matt, where this is this close to the roundabout?
It is. It's just east, like 4 lots east of the roundabout, just west of Clifford Drive on the south
Is
side.
it a business or a house?
They're going to build a house, single-family residence.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Do I hear a motion on this sidewalk deferral request?
So,
Second?
This is clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
yes.
I vote yes. MRM Trust Annual Meeting Proxy Form. Mark?
Yes, MRM is our provider of workers' comp insurance, and the arrangement is a trust, so we are part owners of the insurer of our workers' comp. As a result, we have the right to elect officers to the board, and instead of wasting or spending a day traveling to Pittsburgh for a fairly short meeting, we always just sign the proxy form, but we need authorization to go ahead and do that. So it'd be my recommendation to sign the proxy form and let MRM vote for us.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Is there a motion to approve the proxy form for MRM Trust?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
This is clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 13 on our agenda, communications, treasurer communications, Mark.
Yes, I got two things today. First is, come to find out that we've got a hole in our pharmacy benefit coverage. Ordinarily, if we had straight Highmark insurance and pharmacy was included in that, there'd be no issues. But because we've carved out the pharmacy and use RX benefits to administer the pharmacy portion of our healthcare plan, nobody checked the box for vaccination coverage with RX benefits that would ordinarily been taken care of. So as a result, when the employee goes to the pharmacy to get a shot, it's not covered because it's not part of the pharmacy plan. I don't know when we first put this together, pharmacists were actually doing the vaccinations. They are now. It's a matter of convenience for the employees. And I don't know that there's really any difference in the cost as much as us self-insuring that. So what my recommendation is that we authorize RX benefits to cover vaccinations, those that are covered under the plan. And so you've got a choice. You can either get it done at the doctor's office or you get it done at the pharmacy, but either way you'd be covered.
So just to clarify, the vaccinations that are covered are currently covered at the physician's office,
Yes,
not at a pharmacy? currently?
yes.
Okay. Anything else regarding that?
No, that would be it for that.
Okay. Is there a motion to, would be adding?
Adding
The pharmacy.
vaccination coverage to our pharmacy benefit.
Okay. Is there a motion to add that as presented by Mark?
Now I'll make a motion for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet? I vote yes.
Okay, the second thing is, we're in the process of putting together coverage for healthcare for 2024. We are self-insuring our healthcare plan as part of protecting ourselves against very large dollar claims. We have a form of insurance called stop loss, so that when any individual gets to $105,000 worth of healthcare costs, that'd be both a combination of pharmacy and medical services, the insurance company takes over. We've gotten a quote from our current carrier, which is 28% increase over what we're paying this year. So our broker, Hub, took the stop loss insurance to market, and their recommendation is that we hire Symmetry for the same coverage. It's going to be the same $105,000 stop loss, and we will save the 27% on the premium for next year, which we got to somehow control these costs. The alternative would be to bump up our out-of-pocket, that 105 to something higher, but then it becomes a decision as to whether or not we're going to, how many of those additional losses we'd have to pay versus the savings we might get, and that's always kind of risky. So it's always better to try to lock this into something tight. So it's my recommendation that we contract with Symmetry through Hub and have them insure our stop loss.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Is there a motion to approve Symetra as a stop loss carrier for 2024 as presented?
So,
Second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
yes.
I vote yes. Next, we have a hiring request. Request to fill animal resource officer from Diane Lyons in our HR department. Kim?
Sure thing. This is, the animal resource officer is going to be replacing the animal enforcement officer previously here at the township. And basically what we have done here is we have moved the animal control to the planning and development department under the purview of Matt Waldinger, and it's going to be placed under the code enforcement office, Shallon Anderson. And the general description of this has also changed along with the functions of the job. And not to mention the education that will be required of the individual who is hired in this position. They do not necessarily need to come with this, but they will be trained in basic Humane Society police officer certifications, parts 1 and 2, that need to be obtained. NACA, ACO 1 and 2 training and certification, as well as knowledge of the township, but the Commonwealth's ordinances regarding the control of animals and the care of those. The functions, as I had stated, are going to change. There is more education that's going to be done, and the transporting, of course, to the Humane Society with whom we have an agreement. So we'll be able to answer those calls. Since since this position has needed to be filled, we've had our police officers taking care of this. It's put a lot more on our police department, and it's taken them away from some calls that they need to be on, as well as our streets department. So I want to make a motion to approve the hiring, to approve the posting of the position for the animal resource officer.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
I'll second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Next is a training request. Captain Mo.
I have two. One is the 2023 PCARS Collision Reconstruction Seminars being held in Erie, October 31st through November 2nd at the Bayfront Convention Center. I recommend Corporal Schellenberger attend the seminar. He's the department's traffic investigator, and in that role, he's assigned to all fatal and near-fatal traffic accidents for the follow-up in-depth investigations. There will be case studies and networking opportunities at the seminar. There is no cost to attend, and because of the location, there are no travel costs either. The second training request is that the National Criminal Justice Training Center is hosting a Sexual Assault Investigation Academy in Buffalo, New York, December 4th through December 8th. The SART grant via the Erie Crime Victims Center is reimbursing the township for all costs except for per diems. Because all the costs, including wages, are being reimbursed with the exception of the per diem costs, I recommend the following officers attend: Captain Kosensky, Lieutenant Fallon, Lieutenant Hardner, Corporal Shoup, Corporal Henderson, Detective Juka, Corporal Washik, Patrolman Cool, and Patrolman Nicholson. This group is comprised of 6 officers from investigations and 1 officer from each of the patrol platoons. Do you need to break down the costs? There's an addendum to this request. No?
No, you said this is, just give us a total. And you said this is being reimbursed by the grant.
Right. The upfront cost for the training is $14,665. That's for the academy fees and the hotel. The wages are $18,248. That's also going to be reimbursed. And the township will have to pay the daily per diem of $3,415.50. When you factor in the wages that are reimbursed, we're coming out way ahead on this.
Yeah, this is somewhat unprecedented.
Very.
We'll take it. Very, very good, thank you. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion on these 2 training requests as presented by the chief?
I'll make a motion to approve both of the requests.
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet? And I vote yes. Next up, we have the ICADO Convention. This year is being held on Thursday, October 26th at Nick's Place in Edinburgh. $35 per person. It is a full-day convention. And we have 4 attendees from the township. Our treasurer, Mark Shesky, me, Dan, and Kim are slated to attend. So it would be a cost of $140 for the 4 of us to attend this convention, the annual ICADO convention for the day. It's a good convention.
It is. I'm on the planning committee, Mr. Chairman, and
You get some exciting presenters.
oh yeah, it's going to be riveting. It really is. It really is a great opportunity for all of the Erie County supervisors and elected officials and others to kind of gather together and talk about what's going on in our townships and how we can work together. We're going to have information being presented on grant funding and other alternative ways to get funding in order to complete projects, and as well as some things from kind of like should be good.
Okay, good. So we need to approve that. Is there
Sure,
a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve those 4 individuals going to the ICADO conference.
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet? And I vote yes. Okay, executive session was held on October 5th of this year to discuss matters related to personnel matters related to insurance and benefits and litigation related to orphans court petition, code enforcement matters and right-of-way construction, and also real estate matters related to parks and rec facilities and lease of township property. Next, we have the trick-or-treat hours, which I know Mr. Cliff is looking forward to, his first trick-or-treat here. It will be October 31st, Tuesday evening from 6 to 8 in the township. And anything else on that? Okay, good. Next is the Operation Green Light for Veterans. We received some correspondence from Joe Bonacci, I believe is from the Veterans Administration. And I'm just going to read his request of us. America's counties have a long and proud history of serving our nation's veterans, a legacy that continues to this day as we work with our federal, state, and local partners to ensure that the former service members in our communities have access to the resources they need to thrive. This coming Veterans Day, Erie County, along with the nation's 3,069 counties, parishes, and boroughs, will participate in Operation Greenlight and show support for veterans by lighting the county courthouse and library green from November 6th to November 12th. By shining a green light, we'll let veterans know that they are seen, appreciated, and supported. I hope that you and your organization can participate in the initiative. And as a township, I think we would be happy to participate and is honored to participate. So we did this last year, Cheryl. And what did it involve here? We did the green lights on campus here.
Yes, yes. Jerry replaced all the bulbs with green, as far as I was told.
Okay, all right. I seem to recall. Yes, very nice. So we're going to be participating in that again. Do we need any motion on that or anything, or we're just, we are participating in that.
Are we going to make a motion to change the bulbs?
You can do that. Okay, what do we have next? Solicitor communications. Anything further? Mark, Lydia? Nothing. Okay. We have a student ambassador introduction. We're honored to have Emma Hills with us today. We are resurrecting our student ambassador program, which was very popular here. And then with COVID, that was shut down temporarily through the McDowell, their permission, and wanted to get things back on track. And so here we are, and Emma is here today. And then I guess Anthony Madursky will also be participating. And so Emma, if you would like to say a few words, if I don't mean to put you on the spot. Okay.
Well, I obviously go to McDowell. I think I'd like to believe that I'm pretty active in the community. I do ROTC. I'm the deputy, so I'm second in command. I'm pretty active with that. Pretty active with the school. ROTC is pretty much my number one. I do a lot of community service with the community, so I kind of know what's going on, but isn't. I plan to go into politics eventually one day, so this is a good starting place.
God bless you. Okay. Maybe you should meet with me, Dan, and Kim individually for several hours. No, that's great. That's awesome. So will you be attending mainly our morning meetings? Or?
Yes.
Okay, and then Anthony will be at our evening meetings,
Yes.
and this will go through the entire rest of the school year, so through May, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, Kim, is there anything you want to add?
I want to thank you so much for being interested. Local government it has so much more of an impact than any of us realize. The headlines in the news show us what's happening at a national level, but what we do here affects the everyday life of residents, and I think that means a lot. And this is community service. It really is. That's what we do. We're serving people and the public. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being interested in all of this. And yeah, there's nothing like it in the whole world than giving back. So
Yeah,
thank you.
It's nice to get the perspective from
Oh.
the younger generation, so to
Mhm.
speak, and
Mhm.
hear what they have to say about it, so.
And how can we can make the community better for you, so that you want to be here for.
Mhm.
You're going to come back here hopefully someday.
Someday.
You will, Emma. No, I'm teasing. No. But I also want to thank Crystal Meyer, who is the teacher, is teacher at McDowell, and she actually she was the teacher that helped with this ambassador program setup as well. And
Mhm.
Crystal is a veteran teacher. She's great. I taught with her at McDowell, so
Mhm.
thanks.
Okay,
Yeah, I too want to thank you for your interest in local government, and it's great to have students like yourself involved. So thank you for being here.
all right, very good. Kim, you wanted to say a few words about the homecoming parade, which took place last Friday, October 6th.
Yes, I just wanted to thank all those that came out to the homecoming parade for McDowell. Milford Township also had, I guess, a float. We had two little, what do we have? The golf carts.
We had a golf cart.
And we were able to pass out candy to the community and say hello to everyone. It was just great to see everybody there, and I'm so happy. I'll be honest with you, growing up, I didn't even know that Mill Creek had a parade like that. So I was in Erie, and even my kids are young, so I just found out when my girls were at Grandview. So anyway, so excited. It was so much fun to see everybody, and thanks for everyone that participated.
We lost you near the end. Where were you?
Okay.
What happened to you?
So former students were in the sides, teachers,
Okay,
friends
okay.
of mine, and I just kept hugging people.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
So,
We
yeah.
assumed you were fine.
I was fine,
Okay.
yeah. I made out with Westridge Fire Department.
Oh, with their assistance, okay, great. Okay, citizens to be heard. Any citizens wishing to be heard today? Sir?
Dennis McAndrew. A couple of quick questions or thoughts. The proposal for the budget and the solicitor review of the treasury and stuff. As a Melkirk citizen and also Erie County citizen, just hopefully, and I know the budget process is always ongoing, but with the proposal from the county raising taxes, you've raised taxes for the pay for the fire department and everything. I just hope that due diligence will be done, and I see we hired yet some more people that, the excuse was for the county, well, we hired 3 more people, employee costs, all this, we have to raise taxes. Well, do you really have to? Maybe they should control things better. I hope that you guys are trying to keep, I know you are, I appreciate all the hard work, keeping the costs down. Going forward, it's going to be a challenge. And good luck with that. The other thing, as a citizen, I imagine lots of people have heard about Harbor Creek taking over Kmart and the whole process of wasn't, and already doing asbestos removal. They're slated to be demo work real soon. They're saying they're going to have it completed, but before January. If they do, that's amazing. What is Melkirk? And I know Matt's working hard, the 8th Street and all the other stuff, and you hear all the time government can, chew gum, walk and talk all at the same time. Have you approached or asked Harbor Creek, hey, would you do get Kmart off their butt? And is Melkirk going to, pursue, hopefully, trying to get that resolved too? So we have 2 big pieces of property in the county looking better soon?
Certainly am monitoring the situation, yes, to find out what they did, and, hopefully if they're successful, then we
They'll be able
will
to
try and
help you out, help us out.
Correct.
Great. I just wanted to know, you hear about the working agreements and all that. I was wondering if anyone reached out or they reached out to you or you to them to try and say, hey, what'd you do?
Not yet.
Not yet. Working on it. Good to know. Thanks. Because I imagine I'm not the only one in Melkirk that wants to know.
No, you're sure. And I should say I'm speaking solely for myself. I don't know if any of the supervisors possibly have spoken to their township supervisors yet.
Good. Well, it's nice to see hopefully the progress. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else? Okay. Time for an adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we are adjourned at 10:15. Thank you.